this is a special treat for us because joining us in the Coors side seats is the commish himself, the CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie. And first of all, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you.
I'm very well, thank you for asking. Nice to be here.
The 105th Grey Cup, first of all, highest rated Grey Cup in 4 years. So obviously Canadians enjoyed it. You were there. It was an incredible atmosphere, the snow, Shania. What was your favorite part? And don't say Shania, because we know that's kind of a default.
Well, I like the dog sled. I mean, I really thought that was cool. Now, she was going to come in on the dog sled before there was snow, but I thought the snow...
Wait, okay, so can you clear up something?
Yes.
Did that dog sled have wheels on it?
You know, okay, I never did an audit of the dog sled, so it's a good question, but I'm not exact. All I know is she was coming in on the dog sled regardless, and the fact that there was snow on the ground seemed very convenient.
We asked that because our producer Tim, mentioned that we thought it was on sleds and, well, it was being pulled by dogs.
But for you, it really couldn't have gone any better for a championship game.
No, it was great. I mean, the atmosphere was fantastic. First of all, Ottawa outdid themselves. The city was in finest form. The organizing committee, you know, they're all to be commended. It was just a lively atmosphere. Lansdowne Park is just a beautiful setting for the festival, and it was jammed full of people having a lot of fun. All of those things kind of came together, and then the game itself was pure magic.
When it started snowing, were you thinking this is horrible? But then when it started snowing more, did you think this is the perfect backdrop for a Grey Cup?
Well, you know, you don't want the conditions to determine the outcome of the game. I think, you know, first and foremost, you want the players to decide it. But it was kind of magical, the way it was all coming down. First of all, it wasn't cold, and, you know, you saw that, you know, the players, I think the players were very comfortable. The Toronto changed shoes. Danny Webb gets a big shout out because he changed shoes, the players' shoes in the second half, and they'd obviously, the players felt good about that. But, you know, really, it just really came together, and I think the players decided the outcome of the game, and the conditions just added to the ambiance.
So interesting we bring up the snow and the beautiful atmosphere because you got a lot of attention this past Friday. You spoke to the media about the possibility, just throwing it out there, of moving the schedule back. And you said one thing in that press conference I thought was interesting. You said, wouldn't it be interesting to play, you know, have the Grey Cup week, beautiful October weather, you know, it's beautiful across the country. After going through that Grey Cup, did it make you think, well, maybe we leave it where it is? Or are you still thinking you'd like to maybe move it back a bit?
Well, you know, this is a conversation we want to have with the fans. You know, I think it's a perfect thing to take to the fans and have the fans help us on. And look, I've heard, I spent a lot of this year traveling in and out of stadiums and spent a lot of time in the concourses, you know, shaking hands and meeting our fans. And I would say this issue was in the top three, and I'd say by a significant majority, people felt like it was time to move the season up a little bit. And again, you know what, like October in Canada is magical. Yeah. And you could just imagine the festival and, you know, being outside in almost perfect weather would eliminate the possibility of you know, playing in very inclement weather. So look, I like the idea, but what I really like is let's get the fans involved and have them help us decide what's best.
How do you get more people in the seats in Toronto? One of our writers, Brendan, he went to the Grey Cup, a first-time experience that you probably hear 1,000 times. I didn't know this league was this fun. How do you bring that and drop it into Toronto and people get out there and experience it?
Well, I think you continue to win like this way. You know, I mean, this is going to obviously stir up a lot of interest, and that's a good thing. But look, the team is doing a lot of the right things, and we've said this all along. You know, you've got these three preconditions you have to have. I believe you have to have great ownership, and with, you know, Bell and Larry Tannenbaum, obviously that's a gigantic check mark. You then have to have a good facility, and BMO Field is just a great place.
It is.
It really
is. A great stadium.
It's a great place to see.
You go there, you just feel like watching sports there, and and that's the truth.
Yeah.
And then the third is you've got to have the right, you know, team management, you know, general manager and coach. And I think we can say now that. I think Jim Popp and Mark Trestman, I think it's pretty clear that they know their way around Canadian football. So look, we've got those things in place now. I just think we just gotta welcome fans into the BMO Field and have them watch, and I think they'll come back.
Well, we're supposed to wrap, but I have to ask you about the Atlantic Canadian situation. You mentioned ownership very quickly. This ownership group looks impressive. are we going to see the Atlantic Schooners in the CFL like around 2020? You can tell us now. You can break the news right here.
Well, the truth is, this is the unfulfilled part of our Canadian, of our national game.
For
right?
all CFL fans.
Yeah, like everyone wants it. Like literally everywhere I go, people want it. Look, the issue is simple. We've got to get a stadium built, and I know this group are committed to working with government to see if you know, if a strategy can be developed to put a stadium there. It would be the perfect finishing piece. You know, we talk about our inclusion, and including our friends and neighbors in the Maritimes and Atlantic Canada would be the perfect final piece of the puzzle. So I'd like to see it happen, but we got to get it done right.
I wish this chat could go on for about 30 minutes.
I know.
But we're being told to wrap up.
You're the best. You're so great for the league. We really appreciate you stopping by,
Guys,
Randy.
thanks very much. It's a pleasure being here.
We would do the handshake, then it gets awkward because he's got to reach across me and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I got to do the reach across. We're going to take a break.
Let's say yes for tonight.